Hello everyone, Kristina Werner here. Welcome to another video for SUNBEAM.com. Today I'm going to be using the stamp set that comes in the June 2024 card kit. This is called Sweet Birthday. There's lots of fun cupcakes and sweets and treats all in this really large stamp set. You can kind of mix and match the toppers on the cupcakes, give them different bottoms, things like that. So I'm going to be coloring all of my treats with Copic markers. So I've stamped the images in a Copic friendly ink. I've used intense black ink from Simon Says Stamp. And now I'm going to be coloring all of these images with Copic markers. I'm doing very simple coloring, mostly just 2 shades for each color, a dark and a light, and then just coloring these in the best that I can. I've chosen kind of rainbow-like colors because that's very happy and looks like happy birthday colors to me. So I'm going to go ahead and color these. I'll turn on some music so you can enjoy the coloring. After all of the coloring was finished, I then fussy cut each of these images out. There are coordinating dies for all of the images, but I wanted to put them all together without any of the white margins, so I just cut them out with my scissors. I'm now working on a 5x7 folded card base. I've taped it to my surface just to keep it in place while I put on this masking paper. It's about 1.25 inches above the bottom of the card, and I'm now going to take 4 colors of ink and ink blend across the bottom, starting with the color violet in the Pawsitively saturated ink line from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm ink blending that over a little more than 1/4. Then I'm switching to the color sweets, and I'm going to blend that going toward the right side as well, making sure that I overlap those colors. I then move to the color Sunbeam, and I'm going to overlapping it a little bit of an orange peeking through. And then I'm using the color Tropic. This is a really fun sort of rainbow-esque spectrum of colors, and it works really, really well for this card, and especially with all of my sweets that I've already colored. I then put the dot and kind of almost like a little confetti look stamp from the stamp set, put that on an acrylic block, and I stamped these dots over each of the sections in the same color that's already been ink blended. So I started with Tropic, then Sunbeam, then Sweets, and then I ended with Violet. After removing the masking paper, I'm left with a nice crisp line. This is going to serve as a horizon line for my scene. And I thought I wanted to have just a little bit more interest coming up from that very sharp line. So I decided to do some additional ink blending with the color Flannel. And I just used a piece of cardstock and held that in place, protecting my ink blended area. and then ink blended that light gray shade from that edge. And as I ink blended and moved down, I just moved my piece of cardstock down. After I'm done with all that ink blending, I'm left with just a very subtle shadow coming up from that horizon line. To finish off all of my sweets, I took a brush tip marker. This is a Copic Multiliner, and I just painted the edges, the white edges of my cut pieces. This really hides any imperfections in the cutting, and it just finishes them off, gives them a little bit more of a finished look. I then put a little bit of glue at the base of each of the cupcake tops and then glued it directly to the bottoms, and that just overlaps that area just enough. So I was basically just assembling all of the cupcakes at this point. I also, when I cut out those candles, I knew I wanted to have them adhered behind the cupcakes. So when I cut them out, I let a little bit of that white cardstock extend down to the bottom, and that gave me just a little bit more room for adhering the candles to the back of the cupcakes. Also, when I trimmed out those candles, I left a little bit of white right around the flame, and that really hides the cardstock well, and it works out. I then arranged all of my sweets on my card front. They're not glued down at this point. I just wanted to have them on there so that I could then stamp my greetings. So I had them on there just long enough to kind of get these placed on my card front, and then I closed the door of my MISTI, and then I'm going to stamp my greeting now. I'm using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I'm stamping this directly onto my card front. Now, I only did the beginning of the phrase. I first stamped the top word on my greeting so that I could get the placement just right. So I have the word birthday, and I actually stamped it twice to make sure I had a really nice impression. And after I stamped that, then I cleaned off my stamps and I placed the word wishes underneath birthday. So now it will read birthday wishes, it's your day. So I stamped that wishes right below, and then I'm ready to start assembling all of my sweets and treats on top of my card. I put foam tape behind all of those elements. In fact, I did 2 layers of foam tape behind the pink cupcake, and the macaron is actually adhered directly down to the card front without any foam adhesive. I then decided to add some additional little details, so I used a white gel pen to add a little bit of some shine onto the lollipop, some dots onto the blue cupcake, and then I also put a little bit of a white dot right on top of that cherry, on top of the 3rd cupcake. And then I brought in some glitter glue. This is Stickles, this is the color Diamond, and I didn't want it to be so thick and gloppy, so I put down a little tiny little bit of the glitter and then spread it out just with a piece of scratch paper. I actually used the release paper from my foam tape. I'm just kind of smearing that across the top of each of the cupcakes in order to give them a nice glitter shine to them. After I had all of that adhered, or applied, I should say, and I also added it to the lollipop, then I grabbed some glossy accents and I added that to the top of the cherry. This is going to make the cherry completely glossy once it's dry. Looks a little bit cloudy right now, but as it dries, it gets clear. You can see that in my final photos. So here is my card for today using the June 2024 stamp set. I hope you enjoyed. Everything I've used today is listed down below in the video description in the supplies list. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in another video very soon.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.